In this video, we are going to study about the energies of the orbitals, Aufbau's principle, electronic configuration of atoms and its representation, how to write the condensed electronic configuration, the electronic configuration of copper and chromium, and isoelectronic species. The energy of an electron which is present in the hydrogen atom or any other hydrogen-like species is determined by the principal quantum number, which is denoted by small letter n. Now this is because there is attraction which is going on between the electron and the nucleus. An increasing order of energies of orbital in the hydrogen atom is given by the following order. So 1s will be smaller when compared to 2s, but 2s will be equal to 2p. Now we are moving on to the third shell. So 2s, which is equal to 2p, will be smaller when compared to the 3s, and 3s will be equal to 3p and 3d. Now we are moving to the fourth shell. So all these values, they will be smaller when compared to 4s, and 4s will be equal to 4p, 4d and 4f, and this order will continue further. We already know that the shapes of s, p, d and f orbitals are different. So when the orbitals, they have the same energy, then they are called as degenerated orbitals. So if we look at hydrogen atom, then 2s and 2p are the degenerated orbitals, because we know that the electronic configuration of hydrogen atom is 1. So one electron will move in the 1s subshell, so it will be 1s1. That is why 2s and 2p, they will be degenerated orbitals. Now we know that hydrogen is the simplest element, but if we look at multi-electron atoms means where there are more electrons, there is a lot of repulsion that is seen among the electrons. So in such a case, the energy of an electron will depend on both, that is the principal quantum number, which is denoted by small letter n, and the azimuthal quantum number, which is denoted by small letter l. Then we need to calculate the sum of the two quantum numbers, that is n plus l. Lower the sum of an orbital, its energy is going to be low. But if the two orbitals, they have the same n plus l values, then the orbital with the lower value of n is of lower energy, and this is called as the n plus l rule. In simple word, it means that if you have two orbitals whose value of n plus l is coming similar, then the orbital which is having the value of n lower when compared to the other orbital, then that particular orbital is said to have lower energy. So by using the n plus l rule, the increasing order of the energy of orbitals which is present in the multi-electron atom will be written in the following order. So first you have 1s, which is smaller when compared to 2s, which is further smaller when compared to 2p, and this order continues, that is 3s, 3p, 4s, 3d, 4p, 5s, 4d, 5p, 6s, 4f, 5d, 6p, 7s and so on. Now we know that in a multi-electron atom, electrons occupy the different orbitals, that is s, p, d and f. So the lowest total electronic energy, it corresponds to the most stable, that is the ground state of an atom. So now we are going to study the distribution of electrons in the ground state, which can be understood by understanding the concept of Aufbau's principle. Aufbau is a German word which means building up. So the building up of orbitals means filling up the orbitals with electrons in the ground state of an atom. Now this Aufbau's principle is based on three rules. First is the increasing order of energies of orbitals. Second, Pauli's exclusion principle. And third is the Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Here is a picture of increasing order of orbital energy. So how are you going to remember this diagram? So first, you write 1 to 7 number, then put s, that is 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s and 7s. Then starting from 2, again write from 2 to 7, and this is going to be the p subshell. So 2p, 3p, 4p, 5p, 6p, 7p. Now start from 3rd to 6. So this is going to be the d subshell. So 3d, 4d, 5d and 6d. And now from 4 to 6, so it will be 4f, 5f and 6f. Now the arrows, you just have to follow the arrows. So first will be 1s, then 2s, then 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, 3d, 4p, 5s, 4d, 5p, 6s, 4f, 5d, 6p, 7s, 5f, 6d, 7p, 6f. So this is the order in which you are going to fill the electronic configuration for any particular element. Let us now study the dependence of orbital energy on the n plus L value. So here we have 4 columns which has the orbital energy, the principal quantum number represented by small letter n, then the azimuthal quantum number represented by small letter l, and finally the n plus L. So if we look at the orbital energies, we have 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, 3d, 4p. So basically the orbital energy is going to increase as you go down. So let us understand for the first orbital energy, that is 1s. So we know that here the principal quantum number n is equal to 1. So if n is equal to 1, we know that for s subshell the azimuthal quantum number L is equal to 0. So now we just need to do the sum. So 1 plus 0, we will get the answer as equal to 1. Next is 2s. So here the principal quantum number n is equal to 2 and the azimuthal quantum number L is equal to 0, because we know for s subshell the value of L is equal to 0. After doing the sum, that is n plus L, we get the answer as equal to 2. Now next let us consider both, that is 2p and 3s. So the principal quantum number n for 2p, n is equal to 2, and for 3s, n is equal to 3. For p subshell, we know that the azimuthal quantum number is equal to 1, but for s subshell we know that it is equal to 0. So for 2p the value of L will be equal to 1, and for 3s the value of L will be equal to 0. So for 2p we get the answer of n plus L is equal to 3 for 2p. 3s we get the answer as equal to 3. So as you can see in both the cases, that is 2p and 3s, we have got the answer as equal to 3. So I told you, if you want to know the energy level, then you need to check the principal quantum number. So principal quantum number is less, then that particular orbit is going to have a lesser energy or lower energy. So in case of 2p, the value of n is equal to 2. So it is lower when compared to the value of n is equal to 3. So 2p is going to have a lower orbital energy and 3s is going to have higher orbital energy. Next is 3p and 4s. So the principal quantum number n for 3p is equal to 3, and for that of 4s, n is equal to 4. For p subshell, we know that the azimuthal quantum number L is equal to 1, and for s it is equal to 0. Now we need to do the sum of n plus L. So for 3p we get the answer as equal to 4, and for 4s we get the answer as equal to 4 again. So now since we have got the same answer 4, we need to check the principal quantum number n value. So whichever orbital has a lower n value is going to have lower energy. So in this case 3p is having the principal quantum number n is equal to 3, hence it is going to have lower energy when compared to that of 4s. Similarly, you can calculate it for 3d and 4p. So this was all about the increasing order of energies of orbitals. Now we move to the second principle, that is Pauli's exclusion principle. The capacity of an orbital to accommodate electrons is decided based upon the Pauli's exclusion principle. So Pauli in the year 1926 recognized that no two electrons in an atom can have the same set of 4 quantum numbers. Or the other way, he stated his principle is only two electrons can occupy the same orbital and they must have the opposite spin, that is the upward and downward spin. Pauli explained that an electron which is belonging to the same orbital, its spin quantum number, which is denoted by ms, it should be different since the other three quantum numbers, that is n, l and ml, they are same. And we already know that the spin quantum number has only two values, that is plus half and minus half, and the orbitals can accommodate only two electrons with opposite spin, that is plus half and minus half. So what does this actually mean? Let us understand this with the help of the table here. So you have the first electron and the second electron. We have to find out the quantum numbers n, l, ml and ms. N stands for the principal quantum number, L stands for azimuthal quantum number, ml is the magnetic quantum number and ms is the spin quantum number. So for the first electron, the value of n is equal to 1, and similar for second electron also the value of n is equal to 1. Now since it is 1 means it is the s shell, so the value of azimuthal quantum number will also be equal to 0 for both the electrons. And since L is equal to 0, then the magnetic quantum number is going to have only one value, that will be equal to 0 in both the cases, that is the first electron and the second electron. So in case of first electron, the spin quantum number will be equal to plus half, and for second electron it will be equal to minus half. So if you look at the set of values for the four quantum numbers, the first three, that is n, l and ml, they are similar, that is 1 0 0, and the fourth quantum number, that is the spin quantum number, has a different value of plus half and minus half. So this means that the electrons need to be put in the opposite spin. When it is plus half, it is pointing in the upward direction, and when it is minus half, it is pointing in the downward direction. So these two electrons with opposite spin occupying the same orbital, it is called as the electron pair. So let us consider an example of helium. Now helium has an atomic number of 2. So we can write Z is equal to 2. Z is nothing but it is a symbol that is used to represent the atomic number. So the electronic configuration will be written as 1s2. So we have already studied the increasing order of orbital energy. So according to this, the first shell is 1s. So we are going to write 1s, and s has the capacity to take in 2 electrons. So since the atomic number of helium is 2, it is going to have 2 electrons. So the electronic configuration is written as 1s2. So if you want to draw it, s has only one block. So we are going to represent the 2 electrons in the opposite spin. So one pointing upwards and the other pointing downward. The maximum number of electrons that can accommodate in s orbital are 2. So for s orbital, we just need to draw one block. For p, the maximum number of electrons that can accommodate are 6. Hence we draw only 3 blocks. For d, maximum number of electrons is 10. That is why we draw 5 blocks. And for f, the maximum electrons can accommodate are 14. So we have to draw 7 blocks. Let us now move to the third principle, that is Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Filling of electrons in the orbitals belonging to the same subshell, or you can say the orbitals which have the same energy. So I have already told you orbitals which have the same energy, they are also called as degenerated orbitals. So these orbitals, they follow the Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. So what exactly is the Hund's rule? It states that pairing of electrons in the orbitals belonging to the same subshell does not occur unless each orbital belonging to that subshell has got one electron each. So what does this mean? So let us consider the p subshell. Say that we have 6 electrons. So when you start filling up the electrons in these blocks or these orbits, you have to keep in mind that the electrons with the upper spin are first filled up. So one electron will come in the first block, then in the second, then in the third, and after that you are going to put the downward spin. So 1, 2 and 3. So now your p orbital is completed with 6 electrons. So this is the correct way in filling of the orbitals. However, if you do it like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then this is going to be wrong. One more example I would like to give you is p orbital having 4 electrons. So again draw the 3 blocks. Now we have to accommodate the 4 electrons. So first you put the upper spins, that is 1, 2 and 3. And now the 4th electron will go in the first block with the downward spin. If you write the same in this way, then this is going to be wrong. So always keep in mind, when you are filling the orbitals, always fill it first with the upper spin and then the lower spin. Now, when all the orbits are completely filled or half filled, then they are said to be stable. Now what does that mean? Now we know that the capacity of s orbital is to take in 2 electrons. So even if the s orbital has 1 electron, then it is stable. Like completely filled is 2 electrons and half filled is 1 electron. So similarly for p orbital, completely filled will be 6 electrons and half filled will be 3 electrons. In both the cases the orbit is going to be stable. For d, completely filled is 10 electrons and half filled is 5 electrons, and the d orbital is going to be stable. In case of f orbital, completely filled is 14 electrons and half filled is 7 electrons. Next we are going to understand how to write the electronic configuration of atoms. For this you need to know this table by heart. So first let us take the example of hydrogen. So hydrogen has the atomic number of 1, so only 1 electron will be present. So according to the order, we will take the first level, that is 1s. So how many electrons? 1 electron. Capacity maximum of s is to take 2 electrons, but since hydrogen has only 1 electron, the electronic configuration will be written as 1s1. The second example is helium. Now helium has 2 electrons, right? So again start from 1s. So 1s, maximum capacity of s electron is 2. So the electronic configuration is 1s2. For lithium, the atomic number is 3. So the number of electrons present is equal to 3. So let us write the electronic configuration beginning from 1s. So the capacity of s electron is 2. So write 1s2. But since 3 electrons are there, we need to accommodate 1 more electron. So the next is 2s. The capacity of s electron is to accommodate 2 electrons. So we are still short by 1 electron. So we will write it as 2s1. So the electronic configuration of lithium is 1s2, 2s1. Let us take another example, that is beryllium. The atomic number of beryllium is 4, so there will be 4 electrons present. So again start with the same order. 1s, 2 electrons will go. In 2s also 2 electrons are going to go. So 2 plus 2 is going to give us 4 electrons. Hence the electronic configuration of beryllium is 1s2, 2s2. Next is fluorine. The atomic number is 9. So first begin with 1s. Maximum electron it can accommodate is 2. So 1s2. Next is 2s. S also can accommodate maximum of 2 electrons. So 2 plus 2 is going to give us 4 electrons. We are still falling short of 5 electrons. So next level is 2p. So now 9 minus 4, 5. So the capacity of p electron is actually 6. So we can easily write 5 electrons here. So the electronic configuration of fluorine is 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. Let us consider one more example, that is of zinc. Now the atomic number of zinc is 30. So again begin with the electronic configuration. First is 1s. So maximum of 2 electrons can go there. So it will be 1s2. Then you have 2s. So it will be 2s2. Then you have 2p. So all the 6 electrons can move in here. So that will be 2p6. then you have 3s, so 3s2, then you have 3p6. So just calculate the number of electrons here. 2 plus 2 plus 6 plus 2 plus 6, so the answer comes to 18. So still we are short of 12 electrons. Hence the next is 3d, so it will be 3d10, and next is 4s, so it will be completely filled with 2 electrons, that is 4s2. So the electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10, 4s2. So just calculate the number of electrons, that is 2 plus 2 plus 6 plus 2 plus 6 plus 10 plus 2, which gives us 30. Next is how do you draw the orbital diagrams. So for hydrogen, where we got 1s1, since we are taking the s subshell, we know that only one block is to be drawn. So we have only one electron, so it will be in the upper spin. For second, that is helium, we had 2 electrons, so again s shell, so only one block, but since there are 2 electrons, it is going to be in upper spin and lower spin. For lithium, the electronic configuration was found to be 1s2 and 2s1. So we are going to draw one block for 1s and one block for 2s. In 1s we have 2 electrons, so that will be with upper spin and lower spin, and in 2s we have only one electron, but that will be only with the upper spin. For beryllium, we had the electronic configuration as equal to 1s2 and 2s2. So again we need to draw one block for 1s and one block for 2s. Since s is completely filled with 2 electrons each, then we have to put the electrons in the form of upper and lower spin. For fluorine, the atomic number is 9 and the electronic configuration observed was 1s2, 2s2 and 2p5. So here we have 1s, 2s and 2p. So one block for 1s, one block for 2s and 3 blocks for 2p, because we know the maximum electrons p shell can accommodate are 6. So in 1s we have 2 electrons, so upper spin and lower spin. Again in 2s we have 2 electrons, so that is upper spin and lower spin. In 2p we have 5 electrons, so first we need to put the upper spins and then the lower spins. The next topic is how do you write the condensed orbital notation of the electronic configuration. When we write the electronic configuration, and if we take an element which is having a big atomic number, then the electronic configuration will be very huge. So in order to make the electronic configuration in a shorter form, the condensed orbital notation is considered. Now, how do you write this condensed orbital notation? For that, we need to consider the noble gas core of the inert gases, that is the group 18 elements. So which are the group 18 elements? We have helium with the atomic number 2, argon with atomic number 18, krypton with atomic number 36, xenon with atomic number 54 and radon with atomic number 86. Now, why is it so that we consider only the noble gases, that is group 18, to write the condensed orbital notation? Is because they have completely filled subshells, that is s will be having completely filled 2 electrons, p will be having completely filled 6 electrons, d is going to have completely filled 10 electrons and f is going to have completely filled 14 electrons. For example, take argon. Argon has an atomic number of 18. So the electronic configuration will be equal to 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. So as you can see here, all the shells, that is whether it is s or p, they are completely filled with the maximum number of electrons they can accommodate, that is s with 2 and p with 6. So let us now understand how do you write the condensed orbital notation. Take the example of beryllium. Beryllium has an atomic number 4. So the electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2. So now if we want to write this in a shorter form, we have to check the noble gases. So helium is a noble gas which is having atomic number 2. Hence beryllium can be written as equal to the noble core of helium 2s2. So where we wrote helium, that is actually equal to 1s2, that is the electronic configuration of helium. Let us consider the example of sodium. Sodium has the atomic number 11, which means there are 11 electrons, and so the electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 and 3s1. So just check if there is any noble gas which is close by to this electronic configuration. So that is neon. Neon has an atomic number of 10. So we can write it as noble gas core of neon 3s1. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 is the electronic configuration of neon. Similarly, you can write it for other elements. So you actually have to see the atomic number and the atomic numbers of the noble gas to write the condensed form. Let us take one more example, that is scandium. The atomic number of scandium is 21, which means there are 21 electrons. So the electronic configuration of scandium will be written as 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6 and 3d1, 4s2. Now we need to check which noble gas core is close by. So the atomic number of scandium is 21, while that of argon is 18. So wherever there are 18 electrons, we can put the noble gas core of argon. So then the electronic configuration, the condensed form, will be written as the noble gas core of argon 4s2, 3d1, because 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6 is equal to the electronic configuration of argon. So I hope you are clear how to write the condensed notation of electronic configuration. The next topic is the electronic configurations of copper and chromium. First, let us study about chromium. The atomic number of chromium is 24. So the electronic configuration that we get is equal to 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d4. So if you observe this electronic configuration, the number of electrons in 3d level are 4. So they are not half filled, right? Hence chromium is not stable. Now if we transfer one electron from S in D, then S will be half filled with 4s 1 electron and 3D will be half filled with 3D 5 electron, and hence it is going to attain stability. So the new electronic configuration will be equal to 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s1, 3d5. I have already told you, when the shells they are half filled or completely filled, they are more stable. Let us now study about copper. The atomic number of copper is 29. So the expected electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d9. So if you look at the number of electrons in the D shell, it is 9, whereas in 4s you have 2 electrons. Now if I transfer 1 electron from S into D, we will be left with 1 electron in 4s and 10 electrons in 3D. So S will be half filled and D will be completely filled, which is again another factor of attaining stability. So the new electronic configuration will be equal to 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s1, 3d10. So basically in both the elements you are just transferring electrons in order to make it half filled or completely filled, which is going to make that particular element more stable. The last topic of this chapter is isoelectronic species. Now what are these isoelectronic species? So atoms and ions which have the same number of electrons are called as isoelectronic species. So let us consider the example of K+. The atomic number of potassium, that is K, is 19. Right? So Z will be equal to 19, and this also means that there are 19 electrons. But when we write K+, K+ means it is giving away 1 electron and hence K is acquiring that +1 charge. So K+ is now going to become equal to 18 electrons. So K atom had 19 electrons and after losing one electron, that atom got converted into K plus ion, which has only 18 electrons. So the number of electrons in K atom is equal to 19 and K plus ion is equal to 18. So now if we check argon, argon has an atomic number of 18. Similarly, calcium 2 plus. Now the atomic number of calcium is 20, but Ca2 plus means it is going to lose 2 electrons. So if it is losing 2 electrons means now it will have only 18 electrons left. So such species like argon Ca2 plus, which are containing 18 electrons, they are isoelectronic with K plus. So if you want to write the electronic configuration of all these species with 18 electrons, then it will be written as equal to 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2 and 3p6. So this was all about the chapter structure of an atom.